Pikmin 1 and 2 started a pretty awesome franchise for the big N, Nintendo. Interestingly enough, the series almost falls in line with other Nintendo franchises, Mario, Zelda, and Metroid. Naturally, we have the first game, which introduced us to everything that this new universe has to offer, and then we have the second game, which does kinda do the same thing, but changes things up a whole bunch, just almost for the sake of it. Surely, after the success of both games, we're gonna get Pikmin 3 in no time. We didn't. Pikmin 2, 2004, Pikmin 3, 2013, wow, this is what true pain feels like. Miyamoto for some reason started talking about a brand new Pikmin game all the way back in 2007. Why talk about a game that early if you have nothing to show for it for years, and more importantly, why did he do it again? At least in the meantime, during that long wait, Pikmin was still kept somewhat relevant. Of course the Wii versions dropped, so that was cool. Captain Olimar became playable in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, and we got to see Captain Falcon then kill a bunch of Pikmin. Iconic. The Pikmin were responsible for transferring Wii data to the Wii U, a very underrated thing that Nintendo did there. And then the title that ushers the classic response, oh yeah, that game, Nintendo Land. There was a Pikmin attraction here where you get to fight robotic forms of Pikmin enemies, and then if you played with someone else, they would be a Pikmin, and then you'd play with other Pikmin. It was really weird seeing like a me as a Pikmin alongside the rest of the Pikmin. He's just trying to fit in. It was a very weird thing. But in terms of enjoyment, it was about as neat as any game in Nintendo Land could be. The thing is though, it wasn't Pikmin 3, the game that everybody really wanted. It certainly did lead to an interesting development cycle, but hey, after years of waiting, we finally got it. Pikmin 3, easily one of the biggest games Nintendo released for the Wii U. Just like, marginally better than Devil's Third. Nintendo was so confident with what they were working on, it even started an E3 conference. This was the hardcore game that was meant to show off the potential of the Wii U gamepad. They were so serious about it, man. Miyamoto almost killed a Pikmin. What a monster. Just kidding, he's adorable. I love this man.
I feel just like a purple Pikmin.
So yeah, I think you guys have been waiting long enough. The third Pikmin adventure is finally here, and I'm excited to talk about it. Welcome back to March, everybody. Okay, it's not March anymore. I didn't really plan that far ahead. I didn't think that name would kind of take off. I've made a huge mistake. It's Alphpril now. Alphpril. Pikmin 3. Yep, okay, yeah, this game is gonna be pretty. Rather than straight up continuing the life and times of Captain Olimar, the story now revolves around the planet of Kopai, currently in a crisis, unable to find any food to feed their booming population. The inhabitants also only eat fruit, so in an attempt to try to find food across multiple planets and failing, the game says that all of their results ended up being fruitless. Oh man, that's good. However, they did find one planet, PNF 404, aka the same planet from the previous two games, aka Earth. 3 explorers are sent off to the planet, and to be expected, something goes wrong during the descent. It wouldn't be a Pikmin game without some near-death experiences. Our lovely captains this time around come in the form of the sprightly young engineer, Alf, the adorable botanist, Brittany, and the captain with a, quite frankly, amazing mohawk, Charlie. After everybody crash lands, you're given some time with Charlie and Alf to reacquaint yourself with the Pikmin and learn some of the game's new mechanics, but really the first thing you're probably gonna do is just mess around in the water for a little bit. Man, the jump to high definition shows. This looks amazing. That Mario guy on Miiverse, he really knew what he was talking about. Before long, Alf meets up with Brittany, and shortly after that, Charlie re-enters the fray as well. And between the 3 of them, my favorite is easily Brittany. I love her to pieces. Not only is she adorable, but she's kind of a savage. They don't call me the keen engineer for nothing. Nobody calls you that. I know. I think I found the one. I gotta give it to her though, her smack talk may be warranted. He may not be Olimar, but he certainly drives like him. With your Pikmin army in tow, the adventure this time calls for the retrieval of every single piece of fruit that you can come across in order to convert it to juice and bring it back to your home planet, as well as sustain yourself on a day-by-day basis on your trip. And like, speaking of the fruit, it has absolutely no reason why it looks so damn stupid good in this game. I don't get it. It's something that I still don't understand, why this is some of the best looking models to ever grace gaming. Period. Look at the grapes! And you can really tell that they are graphically intensive too. The game's frame rate can barely handle the juice that you squeeze out of them. Alright, now I know the Wii U was underpowered, but this is ridiculous. It takes the smoothness of the rest of the game and then just beats it to a pulp. I don't understand it, quite honestly, but to me, I prefer my games like I like my orange juice, with no pulp. You know, I knew that was a bad joke going in, but I'm gonna keep it anyway. Also, I think this orange juice has gone bad, so I'm not gonna drink it. Yeah, it's bad. So Pikmin 3 took many years to finally get in our hands, and honestly, it does show. With a simple click of the button on the gamepad, you can see the world around you in first person and take pictures. Yeah, it is super pretty. And you get to see the lifeless eyes of every individual Pikmin. It's breathtaking. This third adventure takes what worked in the first two adventures, avoids what didn't work, and polishes up everything to an incredible degree. First and foremost, the caves, totally gone. Let me get a yeehaw on that one. Now we get to explore completely original and unique lands, and they are huge in size. Sure, on the surface here we have just a typical snow level, but you take a deep trip inside of the non-underground caves, and you find these really threatening monsters and hazards that you wouldn't see coming. Mechanically, so many tweaks were made to the established formula to simply improve your quality of life. First off, the stars of the show, the Pikmin army themselves. The purple and white Pikmin from Game 2 are now absent, and you know what? Fair enough, the strength of the purple undermined one of the perks of the red, and the usefulness of the white Pikmin was incredibly situational, so I get not prioritizing bringing them back. Now what we have is each Pikmin presenting pros and cons that are completely unique to themselves. Oh, and that electricity garbage from Pikmin 2, where it instantly kills you every single time, now it just stuns the Pikmin like everything else does. Thank goodness. But of course, we do have some new additions to the family as well. First up, there are the rock Pikmin. These guys are, well, rocks. Their hard exterior allows them to destroy glass objects, they're resistant to being crushed, and they are powerful like the reds are, however, they can't latch onto enemies like the others can. Also, they're just really cute. Like literally, it's just a rock with some googly eyes on it and then a plant stem on top, and I approve 100%. And then we have the Winged Pikmin. Oh my goodness, they're cute too. As expected, these can fly. They can float over water, they carry items back to your ship by hovering, sometimes taking shortcuts that other Pikmin can't, but they are slower when doing so. They're weaker too, definitely not meant for combat. Now I know what you all may be asking, well what about the Bulbamin? I know everyone's fan favorite, those little weird looking guys. Them, as well as the purple and whites, are nowhere to be found because you gotta remember, those guys you can only get from going into the underground caves. No underground caves, no Pikmin. Simple mathematics, really. Oh, he actually finished them. This group of 5 Pikmin feels a whole lot more well-rounded than before. Yet again, each one has their unique sets of ups and downs, and it really adds to the level of strategy required to tackling the day in front of you. The world around you also makes sure to specialize each Pikmin's strength at least a couple different ways. What if you find yourself in a large underwater section with a bunch of fish enemies? Easy, now the blue Pikmin can swim towards their foes. What about this room here? It's just a bit too dark. That's okay, just connect some electrical wires with the yellow Pikmin, and there you go. Of course though, strategy is once again the name of the game, and there are so many new things to consider on top of the Pikmin's strengths and weaknesses. Now you can charge into enemies and obstacles, perfect if you know you can take them down quickly. The Pikmin can now latch onto specific body parts of enemies when thrown, such as the Bulborb's eyes, which does stun them more than how you would typically fight them by tossing the Pikmin on their back. Every type can now carry bomb rocks, that's just cool. You'll often come across piles of different material pieces, and instead of needing one Pikmin per item, you can just leave a couple of them there, and they're finally smart enough to be able to bring those items to their destination, go back and get more, and keep doing that until there's no more left. And this goes for the berries as well, which once again you can make super spicy spray with. I am just so proud of them, man. They have finally stopped being super idiotic. And when everything is said and done and it's time to round up the army, now every single Pikmin stays under one onion, just for an extra level of convenience. Oh yeah, those jiggle physics. Some suit upgrades can be found in the wild. Those are cool, they give you some new abilities. And then there are the boss battles. They are bigger and grander than ever before, and I love all of them. Unfortunately, in my opinion, the bosses do have their own unique boss arenas. They're not necessarily integrated with the rest of the world like they were in Pikmin 1, but hey, I can acknowledge that I was like the only person ever to say that was a good part of the first game. That's fine. The bosses are still cool. I'm just saying. Oh, and you thought that guy was big in Pikmin 2? Look at the absolute unit the Quaggled Meyerklops is. That scared the hell out of me the first time I fought it. Some of these bosses may in fact be too imposing at first for you, but that's okay. Now the bosses retain their damage even if it takes you more than one day to defeat them. Again, just another level of convenience. But arguably, the biggest change yet, there is a rubber ducky that stays inside the captain's ship. Wait, no. Arguably, the biggest change here yet is instead of the captains just being a means to get Pikmin where they need to be, now on top of chucking the Pikmin around, you can chuck your partners around too, to get them across platforms a whole lot easier. And hey, you know what? I know exactly where you're thinking now. How is it possible to manage 3 captains at the same time? Well, don't you worry your pretty little head. The answer to that is the answer to all of life's questions, the Wii U gamepad. With this second screen experience, you can now guide captains to specific spots on the map while you go do something else. And honestly, as cool as that level of micromanagement is, it does suck that this is limited to the gamepad. If you end up using the gamepad itself as the controller, then fine, but I've said this before, the Wiimote and Nunchuck is the way to play Pikmin, and it sucks that I have to keep going back and forth with the gamepad in order to come up with the best strategy. Or you know what, maybe you're just saying screw it and you want to use the game's touch controls. Yeah, you remember that? Of course you don't. For some sick, insane reason, Nintendo added touchscreen controls to Pikmin as well, and they're not bad. But why? This is truly the symbol for the dark times. On top of the management of the captains, there are also often these cutscenes where the in-game characters who have their own gamepad contact each other with video feeds. The TV then duplicates the display that you find on the gamepad, just way smaller. You can still read it, but it's lame. Blame Nintendo for this one, man. The more Wii U games that get ported to the Switch, the more useless this piece of plastic feels. So at this point, assuming that you're doing your homework, we can all assume that Pikmin 3 is mainly just more or less more of Pikmin 1. Yeah, that's basically it. Pikmin 2 was split between emulating Pikmin 1 down to reusing similar locations and doing something kind of original with the dungeon crawling elements of the caves. While here in Pikmin 3, this is clearly a massive jump, although it does stick to the original formula. Huge, gorgeous locations that not only look way better, but they're also a whole lot more atmospheric. The size of these levels also leads to an adventure that is a whole lot longer than the first game, but doesn't feel mostly like padding like the second game. There's a stronger emphasis on strategy and diversity between the Pikmin types, and something else that definitely shouldn't be understated, Pikmin 3 is actually a narratively driven game too. Instead of getting your goal at the start of the game and then that's it, now you have constant motivation. First off, you gotta find your partners. After that, you're on the search for, oh man, the Captain Olimar, who apparently has the cosmic drive key, the part that's required to return back home. However, all of the signals that are leading you to Olimar's location, oh no, it's him. Oh, and he's in danger too. Oh, of course he is. Alright, I guess we'll save him. Surely nothing bad will come from this. Oh no, Louis exploded. Once we save him again, we learn that Olimar was actually sent back to the planet to find more treasure to buy back the SS Dolphin, the ship from the first game. Apparently, all of the money that we made in Pikmin 2 still wasn't enough. Wow, that sucks. And naturally, in typical Olimar fashion, he crashes his ship on the descent. This guy, he should learn how to drive. Come to find out, after his crash landing, he was then taken captive by this mysterious creature, the Plasm Wraith. And yeah, it's not gonna give him up super easily. For some reason, it's very motherly towards Olimar. It's a little odd, but okay. You do very quickly get Olimar back, but this then leads to a super duper stressful final level where you're running away from a slowly crawling Plasm Wraith, you're solving puzzles and defeating enemies along the way, all the while trying to successfully carry Olimar back to your ship. And dude, I love this. This last day or so of puzzle solving is super intense, and it's something that we didn't really get to experience in the last two games. Pikmin 1 just had that really short level before the boss, and then 2 had a really big boss, but it was at the end of yet another cave. Here we have a proper test of every single skill and strategy that we've worked with for the entire adventure. It's awesome. Eventually, you escape the giant tree that you were trapped inside of, which naturally leads to a final battle with the huge shiny monster itself. Similar to the Titan Dweevil before it, it can attack every single Pikmin type with one of its moves, but it is much more balanced this time around thanks to the electricity not being insta-death. That really changes a whole lot about the game as a whole, I wasn't lying. This means you can probably go into this fight with a single Pikmin type, but you're not totally screwed if you go in with a varied lineup. The only real problem here is that the fight goes on for quite a while. It's a whole lot of just hoping to get as many of these gold bits eliminated before he sucks them right back in. But after what feels like forever, and like everything else on this planet, it goes down in a blob of glory. And with that, Captain Olimar is saved. Oh man, and that's right, Olimar can talk too. I have yet to mention it in this marathon, but I love how deep Olimar's voice is. No one would ever expect it to be that deep. It's so good. We get given back our Cosmic Drive Key, offer Olimar and Louie a trip back to their home planet, and the adorable Pikmin say their goodbyes once again, ending Pikmin 3. And dude, the credits are so good. I've said it multiple times so far, but really, words alone don't describe just how beautiful this game is. And getting to see the Pikmin just having a good time in their environments, it's so charming. Ah, would you look at that? Looks like the plotline to Pikmin 4. Oh, who am I kidding? We're never getting Pikmin 4. So yeah, Pikmin 3. This game is pretty fantastic. The wait was totally worth it. Now, I am hugely nostalgic for the first game, much like a lot of you people out there, but honestly, this is probably the best game in the series yet. It just has love and care put into it from start to finish. It's a damn good game. Oh, but of course, we're not done yet. If you thought Pikmin 2 had really good side content, oh, you haven't seen anything yet. Sadly, the Piccolopedia is gone, one of my favorite parts of Pikmin 2, just not here. There's also no equivalent of hearing any of the captain's thoughts on specific monsters. But what we have instead is a massively improved challenge mode and an even better multiplayer mode. Now titled Mission Mode, it is similar to what we got in Pikmin 1. You are once again challenged with getting as much stuff done as you can within a time limit. However, now we have completely original maps to work with, not the ones from the main game. We even get access to the purple and white Pikmin here too. This is all in good fun. Who cares about the deep lore of them being underground exclusive at this point? The best part about this mission mode is you are given the perfect amount of time to deal with these challenges. Whether you're collecting treasure or defeating enemies, you gotta be moving at all times if you want to get a good score. And just when you thought things were looking too good, they get even better. This game had downloadable content. They added 5 more maps with completely unique themes. There's a festive house, a rust yard, a cavern that features side-scrolling sections, a large factory with conveyor belts, and making its grand return, the Forest Navel from Pikmin 1. I had no idea that's what the map was when going into it, and I was so happy to see it return. Now I just want Pikmin 1 HD. This is gorgeous. I want more of this. And yes, just like Pikmin 2, this can be done in co-op as well. You once again split up the responsibilities between 2 captains, and it's a lot of fun. But let's just say you would rather get into an argument with your friend instead of working with them. Dude. Introducing Bingo Battle, one of the greatest multiplayer modes Nintendo has ever devised. Not only are we once again dealing with completely original maps, but instead of simply collecting a bunch of marbles like you did in Pikmin 2, now you have to complete a line, any line, on your randomly scattered bingo card. And of course, the cherries are back too, giving you the opportunity to unleash hell upon your opponent. Similar to the battle mode in Pikmin 2, you gotta play this with the right people. You can't take this too seriously. This is just a bunch of nonsensical fun. However, there is still a perfect blend of randomness with the bingo placements, as well as strategy, since you can still screw over the other player by getting an item that you don't need, but you know they need. Do you happen to know the location of their last item, but they don't know where it is? Huh, yeah man, that's really weird. Sorry, I don't know what to tell you. I haven't found it either. I could go on for hours about how good Bingo Battle is and how it's just the cherry on top of an already fantastic package. And actually, when I think about it, that analogy that I used earlier fits here too. You got Game 1, the originator, Game 2, the different one, and continuing on with this trend, Game 3, nearly perfecting the original formula. All across the board, Pikmin 3 is a gem. Now there may be some little nitpicks here and there, but to me, I couldn't really think up of anything. Now it is purely subjective which Pikmin game is your favorite, but in terms of just overall quality, yeah, I think this one is the best. And it's not just because I think I have a thing for Brittany. I'm just saying, you know, she should have been playable in Smash and not that weird Olimar cosplayer, but that's just me. Now, at the time of this video, that's it. That's the main series Pikmin games, 1, 2, and 3, and that's it. Pikmin 4 does apparently exist. I doubt it. Miyamoto keeps saying it every year, just driving me, quite frankly, insane. But regardless of that, we're not done with the Pikmin franchise just yet, because when you least expected it, a 3DS game. Huh. Alright. Well, next time on the Pikmin Marathon, next time on Alphpril, hey you Pikachu.